Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Philip. This is another Fusion Byte. We're on number 3. Just a quick reminder, if you want to help out the channel, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/PhilipHurlitz. I just posted the last video up there along with the Get Player Camera script on there. If you're a Patreon, get access to that. Great way to support the channel. There's also YouTube membership you can sign up for that are in similar tiers, but I don't think there's a way for me on YouTube to like give you access to scripts. But right now that's one of the great ways. Also a great way to support me too is you can just go to Itch, my Itch page. I'll link at the bottom of all the videos, and of course come hang out on Discord. I'll link that in all the videos too. So where we're at now is our player spawns in. Okay, but now let's work on syncing player stats. So let's find our player. And let's just go ahead and bring it into the scene here. There's our player. So what's the number one thing that's going to get synced? Probably the name. So let's create a 3D object, and it's going to be a Text Mesh Pro object. And we're going to say this is the player name. And let's just go ahead and move this up there. I'm going to turn the gizmos off. Oh, apparently we need to import Text Mesh Pro Essentials. All right, they're imported. So this is way too big. Let's go ahead and let's set this for auto size, minimum 0.01. And let's see if we can check the bounds there. Let's make the width like 1. There we go, that's perfect. And then let's make the height like 0.5. Let's make the height like 0.25. There, I dig that. And then I'm going to center horizontally and vertically. And this would be like player name. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want it to always be facing the camera. So you might be looking at it now. So let's pretend like we are the camera. If we look at this game window, we are the camera. But Philip, it's already facing the camera. We're good. Yes, but the camera's going to move. So we want it to always face the camera. But one thing to keep in mind is where would you say the text is looking now? Is it looking at the camera? The answer is no, it is not looking at the camera. So it's looking where the Z forward is. So if I just say look at the camera like it is now, it's always going to be backwards. So how do I fix that? Well, you can put it inside an empty game object and then have that empty game object look at the camera and then have the text be reversed. Or you can just do my little trick and set the scale to -1. And now when it's looking at the camera, it'll be looking at the camera. So we need a place for the player to input their name as well. So we're going to add in some logic. But I guess first we can have, we can set up a look at camera script. So let's do that. Look at camera. This is a great script to have that we can reuse all the time for all sorts of other things. All right, let's open this bad boy up by double clicking. All right, so we need a private game object. Actually, private, I think game object will work. And then we're just gonna call this main camera. And then on private void awake, we want main camera is going to equal camera.main. Right? Isn't that a thing? What am I forgetting here? Oh, camera.main. What is this? What is this? Oh, it's just getting the class of the camera dot game object. All right, and then on private void update, we want transform dot look at main camera dot transform. So I could have also, instead of making this a game object, I could have made that a transform, but I couldn't remember what I was going to do there, but that works. It's going to be fine. So now if we come over here, all right, now we can just go to player name and we can just add the component, look at camera. And so we can now take this, save the scene so the player gets rebaked. Let's also override all of our prefab stuff. Save the scene again so it rebakes. Delete. I'm going to save the scene again anyways. All right, so let's go ahead and hit play. All right, and here we can see that the player name is always looking at the camera no matter what we're doing. All right, but now we need to be able to collect the player name. So we need to go into our Fusion Manager first, and we don't want to connect on Awake now. And let's create a canvas. All right, we have our canvas. And let's just create an input field. And let's, we need to come over here so I can see it. Let's, do that. And actually, let's keep it like that. Let's make the width a bit bigger and the height a bit bigger. Great. And what can I adjust over here? Single line, blah, 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 blah. Can't change the font here? There we can, yeah. So we can go like this. And then I can go to the placeholder text and just do enter name, ... And we need a button. And we're just gonna go like this. And I like to keep them square, so just do that. And then submit. And just for fun, let's make the button not interactable yet. And then let's have some new logic. And this is going to be, did that just become a child of the canvas? No. This is going to be our name entry logic. And again, you wouldn't have to keep these all separated. I'm just keeping them separated just for visually making it easier. So let's actually have this can be our player. For now, we're just going to call this name entry. That's what I'm going to do. All right, so let's go to name entry logic, compiling. All right, so let's put our name entry logic on here, and let's open this up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete all this because I don't know what I'm going to use yet. And we want a private, doesn't need to be private, but let's go ahead and keep it private. And this is going to be a Text Mesh Pro. Maybe it's, you know what, I need to put the namespace in first, make it easier for me to find it. So TM Pro, and then I'm just going to type in input. I think it's TMP input. Jeez, there's so much input. All right, let's do TMP, and come on, input field. There we go. Text Mesh Pro input field, name input field, and yeah. So private. We're not gonna make this is gonna be a public void. Public void submit name. And then this is going to be, so I'm actually going to change this. We're going to call this, oh, no, how do I want to do this? Okay, so I thought for a little bit how I want to do it. I've never done it this way before, but I'm going to do it this way this time. So, on connect to runner, I'm going to make a parameter required for this, and it's going to be player name. So I also want a private string player name as well. All right. So we'll go ahead and leave this awake method here, although I'm not going to use it anymore. Connect to runner, we're just going to say anonymous. All right, because we don't know who they are. So now our connect to runner is going to know the player's name. So we're going to say underscore player name equals player name. I have to get used to 2022 having a lot more IntelliSense suggestions here. All right, so now if we go back to the name entry, I don't need that anymore. I don't think I need that or that. All right, so on the name entry, on submit name, we're just going to do Fusion connection. Do we have an instance of it? We don't. So let's do one. Public static Fusion connection. Yeah, Nice. You know what you're doing. And then on awake, if instance, look at how smart this thing is. Ooh, I've never done an if statement like this. That's cool that it's suggesting it for me. Then instance equals this. Tab. All right, I'm going to trust you, Visual Studio IntelliSense. I've always wanted to get comfortable doing if statements in one line, and this way it is. Well, I just realized, I mean, this is doing exactly what we're doing here. It's just, it's not putting the line breaks. So that's the only difference. All right. Yeah, so now we can come over here and say instance dot, is it connect to runner? Yeah. Connect to runner. And then we need a string, so we're going to say name input field dot text. All right. And on this input field, is there events associated with this? Yes. All right, great. So on value changed. We're going to do public void activate button. So now I need a serialized field. Hey, didn't want you to go down there. Button. Whoa, it sees. Oh my goodness, that's so handy. All right, I don't think 2019 Visual Studio did that. So I was just able, it's recognized the namespace as part of. I was able to double click it and it just added it. That saves me about a second. All right, submit button. All right, so here we're just going to say submit button dot interactable. Oh, I'm starting to really love this. Is true. Really, IntelliSense is on another level in Visual Studio 22 compared to 2019. All right, so now we need to just drop in stuff. So on the value change for the input field, I'm basically just using that for they've typed something. So we can do name entry logic, and we're going to call the function activate button. And then on the button, on click, we're going to do our name entry logic, name entry, submit name. All right, so assuming our logic is sound, we're going to hit play. Our character is not going to spawn all the way right away. Oh, there's one more thing. Oh, we need more stuff there. So it's a good thing we stopped. So we got to put our input field there. We got to put our button there. And just to really round it out, serialized field, game object, canvas. So on submit name, we're going to say canvas.setActive to, oh, you're so smart, IntelliSense. All right. And now that we've added that logic, I got to drop this canvas in here, and I'm going to call this name entry canvas. Let's hit play. I tried pause my video there a couple times. Am I still recording? All right, still recording, it says. All right, so I'm going to put my go-to username, hit submit. All right, so we're not all the way there yet. But the good news is our Fusion connection knows what our name is. So now let's go to our player. And on the player, we're going to put a new script. And this is going to be our player stats script. You can call it player info, doesn't matter, whatever. I don't know why sometimes randomly Visual Studio will open up when I create a new script, and other times it won't. It's kind of annoying that it does it, because I'd rather it just wait, and I want Unity to finish compiling, and then I can drag it on. Did I do it? Did I drag it? Is it there? So much here. Yes, player stats. Now I can open it. Now I want to open Visual Studio and to do this. So I already know that I'm going to be using Fusion. computer's sliding over. And this is going to be a network behavior. All right, so we haven't used a network behavior yet in this byte series, but network behavior is basically what you're going to do anytime you're writing something that needs to be transmitted over the network. You could see that on our Fusion connection, it's a mono behavior, and it was still able to kind of reference the network, but anything that we're going to sync over the network, we definitely need a network behavior. All right, so first thing that we need is we need a string for the player name. Now, you might think public string player name, but variables with Fusion have special names sets that we want to use. All right, so here in the Fusion documentation, you can see networked properties. So the way I got this is in the Fusion documentation, open up manual, open up network object, and then go to network behavior. Let me go and click it again so it takes me back down there. And then networked properties. And so here you can see you put the word networked in front of your variable type. But like for float, yeah, we can just do that, but there's other types we need. So it says we can use these primitives, bytes, shorts, ints, longs, floats, doubles, bools. It says we can use strings as long as we set the capacity of the string. Defaults to 16. I've done it that way. I don't know the difference between using this versus using a network string. I always just use a network string, which you also have to set how long it is. So if we come over here and we do networked, and then we do public network string, and if I do this, it wants to know what the size is. So I'm going to do underscore, and it should give me the list. So how many characters do you want to allow for a username? And I used to think, oh, 16 is plenty, but that's really not. I think 32 is usually what I go for. And now I think I just do player name. All right, let me read this real quick. Oh, right, we don't put a semicolon at the end. If you see it right here, you have to do a get set. So you go like get set, and Visual Studio is already trying to tell me that. All right, so there we have player name. Now we're going to want to display that player name, and so we're using TextMesh Pro for that. And so here I want a just a serialized text Mesh Pro UGUI, and this is going to be player name label. And so I really should be doing like a coroutine now where I check and see, let's see if I can figure it out. All right, so I think this will work. So we're still going to use our start, but we're going to make it an IEnumerator instead of just a void. And so right from the get-go, I'm just going to yield return new wait until this, which is the network behavior, is active and enabled. Now, this is supposed to be, I thought, just for Unity game objects, but it also says, and its associated behaviors active and enabled. So if that returns true, I think we're good to get player name label. So, or rather player name. So if we do, now let's yield return new wait until. And don't ask me how these Lambda expressions work. That's just how you do a wait until. Player name dot toString. I can't do that to a string yet. I just want player name is not equal to null. Well, let me do that. It seems to. So then we know that we have a value in player name. And so now we can say player name label dot text is player name, but we need to set it to string because it's a network string. We got to convert it to a regular string to put it on the TextMesh Pro. And I think now we should have our name get displayed. Weird, it doesn't seem like Unity compiled, but I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And again, right now we're really only testing locally. So there we go. We're putting in my name. And player spawned. We have some type of issue here. Value cannot be null. And this is coming from line 17 of player stats. I think I know what the issue is, or at least part of it. I changed up some of the logic. But let's go ahead and change some of the logic first. First off, network variables, it really wants them to be capitalized. So we'll do that. And we'll do that. It didn't like checking the player name without this toString. So I'm adding toString to see if it's null here. And then if it's not null, then we're going to set it here. So, but there's two things we had to fix. We had to fix this, otherwise it got stuck here. But then it was telling me something to here was null. And what's null is it doesn't know the player name label. So if we go back to our player and we check out our player stats, our player name label is null. Why can't I drag that in there? Oh, because I set the wrong variable type. It's not UGUI. It's just that. All right. So now we come back here, scroll down, drop in our player name. Yeah, it's okay that I can see that. I was thinking about hiding this, but no, it's fine. I think we're good to test it again. So let's get out of our prefab. Let's hit play. Hey, I just got to the bottom of my coffee. You know what that means? I need you to go to patreon.com/PhilipHurlitz and join one of my membership tiers to help me get a coffee a day. Shameless plug. Okay, so I'm gonna try putting my name in. Click submit. Dagnabbit. Oh my goodness. All of our logic is fine, except we aren't passing it down the line. So we're not setting this player name at all. We have to get it from our Fusion connection. So on start, if this dot has state authority, then player name is Fusion connection dot instance dot, is it underscore player name? What is it? It's private. Now it's not. Public. There we go. Okay, so let's go back and try again. All right, for real this time. Boom, there's my name. All right, let's build and run and see if it works over the network. Actually, before we do that, I want to see on the player, in this third-person controller, lock. We are locking. We're not locking the pointer in here? Where are we locking the pointer at? I'm just sick of the pointer getting locked. Maybe it's here in the inputs? I bet it's in the inputs. Oh, wait. Was it right there in the inspector? There we go. But before I build and run, I should test it again. There we go, my pointer's not locked. It's still weird to me. Normally I swear on builds I do with the pointer locked, I should still be able to hit escape and it should give me my pointer back. But for some reason, it hasn't been doing that lately. All right, let's build and run. All right, I've spawned. I've also walked my player forward a bit so that the players don't spawn on top of each other. And then, there we go. Let's join. Moment of truth. Hey, we can see the other Mr. Philip Joel. Oh, no. We're not seeing anything here. And it's because we're having some sort of object reference issue. And it's happening. Oh. Object reference not set up. This is in the third person controller. That shouldn't even be related to the issue that we're having, and it stopped whatever the error was. That's also related to the third person controller. Are all of these the third person controller? Looks like it. I don't need to click them. They're right there. So something's going on here. So this is not me. We can tell in the scene. Okay, this one's not me. Here we can see the player name. But what's happening is it's not quite ready yet. So it ran the logic, but it didn't do what we thought it would. And let's just double check its player name is nulled out, and it is. All right, so we're going to try a different method. This is suggested to me by somebody in the Fusion Discord. So we're going to have a public override void spawned. And I'm going to try this myself before walking you through it. Be prepared. I'm going to delete this whole thing. All right, so not using this because that wasn't reliable. And we're going to do private void start. If we have state authority, we're going to do that. And then here, if we look, notice I'm trying to point at my screen. I can't hover it, but if you see the very first, right under the paragraph where it says networked on changed, we're going to utilize that for this, which is what I normally do. I don't know why I didn't. So we're just going to do networked on changed. And we just need to have a class here, which I think it'll make one for us if I do like Alt Enter. I swear I've done this before. Networked on changed equals name of right? And then my callback method. I forget how this works. Name of update player name. Right? Okay, so that should be good. Let's see if it auto creates it for us. So we do want to generate the method, but it should autofill some parameters for us. If not, I'll type them in. Yeah, it's not doing it. So we can generate this. I'm not sure why you put yourself there. It's silly. Let's come down here. And we need, what is this? Change. This is, I think, networked behavior. I can't remember how this looks. Let me go look at the documentation. Oh, it's right here. So I just hovered over networked again, and it shows me what it should look like. And I don't think it has to, maybe it has to be static. I don't think it has to be protected, but we'll see. So it's changed callback parent, which we're just going to put player stats, and then changed. So this is going to be changed. We need to know the name of the class, so it's player stats, and then change. I think that's how it goes. We'll just call it changed. Okay, I think that's right. I haven't done this in a little while. Change callback parent, changed. All right. So now we will now say that player name label dot text equals reference the change. We want from the behavior, and then we want to get, see, it already knows player name, but we need to go to string, and this is going to tell us something's wrong. Not all code paths return a value. Oh, it shouldn't be a private object. This should be private. Can we do void? It might have to be static. Might not have to be. Protected static void. I guess we can do that. No reason not to. Protected static. Player name.label. Oh, we have to do, yes, we have to do, it has to be a static void for this to work. And so we can't just say it's the player name label.text. So we have to specify where this label is coming from. So we're going to do change.behavior.player name, player label. It sees it here. And then we're getting the value same way from the player name up here. It's upset about something here. It's expecting a parenthesis. All right. So now we might be good. Awesome, and that worked. So we can see both players' names on both sides. And so that's how you network sync a player name. And this is already pretty long, so we're going to stop this video here. Maybe next we will show how you can sync other things like player costumes, avatars. See you next time.